Hi everyone, my name is Elin Zeme, and in this video I'll be demonstrating my Enterprise Identity and Access Management Engineering Lab version 1.0. So this project simulates an enterprise identity and access management environment using a Windows Server, Active Directory, a Windows file server, Splunk Enterprise SIEM, Jira Service Management, OrangeHRM, PowerShell Automation, Ubuntu Linux, and VMware. So this is my Splunk environment, and then I got all my clients' computers right here. So I'll be talking about this one in a moment as well. And then we have my Jira right here, and on the workflow, this is what I'll be doing in the future. And then my Arranger HRM system. So we got the client O1 right here. We got client O2 as well. Our domain controller, which is here using Windows Server 2025. The Splunk is installed here. Then we got our file O1, then the HR01 where our Orange HR system is installed, and MariaDB, which is going to be used as our database. And this one is also one of my future apps that I'll use uh, for my Python APIs app and PostgreSQL. So the objective of this project or of this lab is to automate the employee life cycle, joiners, movers, and levers. So as we go here, we got diagrams right here, and then this is the project or the architecture overview. So while implementing role-based access control, uh, centralized auditing and enterprise security best practices, although version 1.0 is primarily an on-premises identity and access management solution. The next phase, as I said, it will replace the CSV workflow that we got right here because this is what triggering our system. So the CSV file triggers the system, and then once the PowerShell script is run, it update changes in our domain controller right here and in our file server as well. Then it generates reports that get updated in this logs folder and also in our Splunk system. So when we go here, we got a lot of dashboards that I built. So I'll be demonstrating them later on, and then reporting all those logs that are being generated. So we got all these dashboards here in our Splunk, and it also generates those reports right here in our logs. Right here, generate the reports there. So over here, we got our inputs data. The CSV file that's triggering the system is right here. When you go to it, you'll definitely see it. And then this is the CSV request. So I'll be running that in a moment as well. So we don't have to save anything. And then we got modules, reports, everything are being generated here. And then we have our scripts. So this is one of the scripts. Whenever a user joins the company, this is what being run and what's triggering the CSV file. We also have the lever as well. When someone is leaving the company, we also have the mover when someone is moving to a different role. Scripts that's being run. So although This version is primarily in on-premises, as I explained it earlier on. The next phase, I'm going to use API-driven automation using our HR system right here, this OrangeHR system that I'll be using in the future. And I also use Python with Jira, which is a system that has been already, or the workflow here in Jira was already configured. So you just have to integrate it with our system, with our Python APIs, and then PowerShell and everything. And it's going to automate all of our tasks here in the system. So when it comes to the architecture overview, as you can see here, everything begins with our human resources. And when using this HR system right here, what's going to happen is that this OrangeHRM serves as the HR management platform where employee information originates. So let's say for instance, if we recruit someone here, so Jira is used by the IT department to manage identity requests and workflow approvals. So the PowerShell automation that we're using, or the scripts that I showed earlier on, uh, processes the joiner, mover, and leaver requests, and the Active Directory, which is right here in our system. Active Directory uses computers, provisions user identities, and the role-based access control that we got the security groups, assign permissions, and then we have a file server, which is file one right here, is going to provide department resources, and then Splunk, which is right here, as I showed you earlier on. Splunk, what it does is that it's going to collect those security events, PowerShell logs, and audits information for monitoring and investigations. And then all these point to each component of our system. So when it comes to our Active Directories, users and computers here, as I was saying early on, we got our department right here. So this Active Directory environment is organized using an organizational unit, and each department contains its own users and security groups. And rather than assigning permissions directly to users, permissions are granted through department security groups. And this follows Microsoft recommended AGDLP model and supported the least privilege. So we have all these security groups, and we also implemented the DNS right here. We also have DNS as well, DNS services, just right here. And we also implemented group policies, which is backing up our users in the system right here to protect our users, and each department or organizational unit has their specific group policies that I'll expound more in the future uh, video. So we got all these, and then we also implemented our labs password for our um, clients' computers, so which will be generated like the admin labs password as well for each of those clients' computers. So we have this file O1, our file server, which is right here that I'm going to log into. So the department shares are secure using NTFS, permissions, and Active Directory security groups. So just put in my password. So here we got all these department shares. So users only receive access to folders appropriate for their department, and access enumeration hides folders users are not authorized to access it. So what I did to implement this so that our users can definitely access just folders of their department is I use access-based enumeration, which hides these other folders from other users. And I also implemented a drive map, which was mapping all these uh, drives as well, and it's automatically assigning uh, drive leaders and then the drive to specific users once they are enrolled or they are being hired and after the account has been created. So to demonstrate a role-based enumeration or the access-based enumeration, I'm just going to type in this command. I already did that earlier on. So we can see here when we type get SMB share space dash name department, we pipe it to this next command here, select objects name folder enumeration mode, and it's going to show that the department for share folder is um, being used as an access based folder as well. So we got our journal automation as well that I was showing earlier on that we got right here. So what happens is that when it comes to these scripts, um, each request includes employee information such as department, job titles. When we go right here into our inputs, so showing earlier on. And then we also have like managers approval, status, and life cycle actions. So when you go over here, so we got all the information about all these accounts. So this is like the birthright access, the user, the type of access that they get when they come into the company. And we got the PowerShell drainer automation, which validates the request and creates the Active Directory accounts, assigns security groups, places the account into the correct organizational unit, creates a home folder, and generates audit logs. So, which is coming from this script right here. Here, it's coming from this one. So this is our joiner lever script, new joiner script that we definitely run. So I'll be running it in a moment here. So I'll just go ahead and then open our PowerShell. I'll just use as an admin right here. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to use a what if mode to safely demonstrate what actions the script will perform without modifying Active Directory. So I already typed it earlier on, so I'll just go ahead and then uh, type it here in a moment. So we're just going to open this. Okay, okay, yep. Go ahead and then we'll open our um, tool. Then I'll just type in the script. right here. No. Yes, so this was the script. Then what if? Yeah, so as we can see, what happening here is that this is like a safe mode that demonstrates what actions the script would perform without modifying Active Directory. And this will be replaced by the Orange HRM and Python in the next phase. So when I go right here in our domain controller, so if we go to the HR here, we'll just go ahead and then open this file. So this user is being assigned to the HR department. This user here, John Michael, or Michael Smith, sorry. So Michael Smith is being assigned into the HR department. When we go right here, even if we try to refresh, we will not see the user. But once we run the script right here, it's going to create the account and then it's going to populate all the information about the user. Yeah, so as you can see here, the account was created and then the password and everything was created here. And when we go back to our domain controller, when you're here, when you click on refresh, then we'll see the user appears here. Then we go to properties. We're going to see that the user received his birthright access. So he's a member of the HR department or HR group. And then we go to the accounts and all the information are being updated over here. And then when you go to general, we'll definitely see it. Organization, its manager is Sarah Johnson. And then the job role or job title is being applied as well. Yeah. So we also have our mover processes or the request, which updates an existing employee's department or role, which we got right here. This is the script that we run. So instead of creating like a new account, the automation modifies the existing identity, updates group membership, and changes access permissions. So that's what it does, and preserve the employee's audit history. So we also have our lever script that's right here as well. So this lever process disables the user account and then removes access to the department resources, revokes security group membership, and moves the account into the disabled users organizational unit. So this approach preserves historical information while preventing future access. If we go to our logs right here, and then we go to journal reports, it will definitely show the tasks that I just created. So these are the past tasks that I was using just to test the account as well. So this is what I just performed today. When we go right here, mm, you will see today's date and then the time that it was performed. So this is why it was performed. As you look at the time and then the date, it definitely shows it right there. And this helps us like to have like helpful information that will help us with the audits if in case like anything happens within our company or within the system. So we have a Jira workflow here as well. So what's going to happen here is that our Jira system is going to manage the identity lifecycle workflow. So each joining mover or leaver request becomes an IT work item within Jira. And when we go within our system here, or let's just go back right here. Mm, Yeah, so what I wanted just to show over here is going to be my project automation. So I already built like automation rules and then workflow right here. Then I'm going to demonstrate that in a moment here because that's what's going to support our system and what's triggering the system. So for all these automations, I'll just go right here and then go manage automation, which is going to show all my automations right here and then the workflows. So as I said earlier on, each joiner, mover, or lever within my system, when we go back here, becomes an IT item or like a ticket, as we usually say as well. And the automation rules moves requests uh, through the workflow and maintain an audit trail. So when we come right here, these are some of the tests that I made just to automate all these tasks. So when you go back right here, manage automation. So we got Epic Stories Workflow Automation Rules, and then we got the joiner automation, like this one right here. So when you go, this is like the rules and then what triggering that, the triggers and then the workflow of what's going on within our system. And then we also have the parent story review. We also have the parent epic. So this is our parent story review trigger. So which is right here. And then we also have our parent epic review as well. So which is right here and all the information that you need. And then we got our Splunk, as I was showing it earlier on. We got our Active Directory monitoring dashboard here. So this Splunk provides centralized monitoring and auditing information. So what happens is that it collects Active Directory events and then Windows security logs, PowerShell logs, sysmon events, and file access activity. Like this one is how many users accounts were created within the last 24 hours. So as we can see here, 4 accounts. How many accounts were deleted? We got 3 of them. How many passwords were reset in our account? We got 5 group membership changes. So we got 4 within our accounts. Any recent Active Directory changes, what happened in the system, the account name, who was the person that the account was created, or the person who performed the task, or who deleted that, as we can see right here in our system. So we got this Splunk index search that we're going to do here. So we're just going to demonstrate some of those indexes, although we already saw them when it comes to those to the dashboard that I just showed earlier on, or just like a minute ago. We're going to search this event code equal 4720, which is like a user creation. How many of them were created? As we can see, how many events? 4 of them. So when we try to go into it right here, we try to get more details. Was like the users, the accounts that was created in this system. As you can see, it's Michael Smith, and then the files that we gave him access to, the drive, and then the account never expires, as we go through it right here, and then who is the person who performed that. So this helps us when it comes to like auditing, and also getting details about like changes within our system, or uh, any threat detection in our system. So just to detect like what changes happen in the system, and when it was performed. And when we go, for instance, in our file share monitoring as well, we'll definitely see that how many total share access events happened within the last 24 hours. We got 495 network share access. So these are the files or the shares that were recently accessed, and by who. We got the information here when this happened. It gives us like detailed information and which share name that was accessed. When we go right here, the folder and then the file access. So when we go to all these users, we got our administrator was part of like the security team as well. Uh, as we can see right here, these are the information of what were accessed. So it just gives us like a clear overview of what's going on in our system, and just to manage our users access as well. So this allows like security teams like to investigate identity related events and satisfy compliance requirements. And then it also shows that users being added to security groups, like when it comes to like the event code 4728, the one that we showed earlier on right here in our system. Or we can still do the research right here, or we just go here to a Splunk history. We can just get this one, add to search, and then change this. Let's see, for instance, this was 28, which is like secure group changes. So we can definitely see it right here. So users that are being added in our system. So if we go here, we'll see all the details, and then which group this user was added into, the HR group. If we also try to go to the first one here, it definitely gives us like details of information. So when it comes to our Orange HR system right here, um, this has been installed and configured as the human resources system. And in version 1.0, this serves as the planned source of employee information. And the next phase of this project will replace the CSV-based process by integrating our HRM system, which is this Orange HRM, directly with Python and Jira using REST APIs. So this demonstrates that version 1.0 has a clear evolution path. And in conclusion, this enterprise identity and access management engineering lab demonstrates how organizations can automate identity lifecycle management using enterprise technologies. And version 1.0 includes Active Directory, role-based access control, group policies, um, file server permissions. We also have a PowerShell automation, and then Jira workflow management. We have a Splunk monitoring system, and the Orange HRM as the HR platform. So this is going to be our next phase right here. What we're going to do when you go back here to diagrams. So this is how these changes are going to happen. Instead of using the CSV file, we start using our HRM system right here. So thank you for watching my enterprise identity and access management engineering lab demonstration.